I invite you to join me, to participate in this inquiry into the miracle of our souls, to become part of the psychic connection.
One love, what's up YouTube? Nyiam here. Going to talk about remote viewing and the right kind of targets to work. A lot of people are new to remote viewing. The first thing a lot of people want to do is try and see a UFO or explain some kind of mysterious event that occurred at some point, or look at Mars or something like this. I'm here to tell you that in order to actually understand what remote viewing is, to have this experience, to set up this communication with your subconscious and gain some kind of control over it, you need to work real targets, and your targets have to have real feedback. This is a major problem, and in my opinion, is one of the main reasons why people don't continue to do remote viewing or see it as a small effect. They don't see, the fullness of the richness of information that can be perceived through it. Is because they're working the wrong kind of targets. They're either working targets that are way out of their league, or they're working targets that exist in someone else's imagination, right? So I just wanted to read a very short dialogue here from Daz Smith's book, Remote Viewing Dialogues. And it's Joe McMoneagle, who was a military remote viewer, and he's responding to someone's comment here. This is a book on a bunch of dialogues off some remote viewing message boards from, when the stuff first got declassified. So the title here is You Can't Be Doing Martian Targets. Mary wrote, "Remember, I'm in the UK. We have UFOs over Salisbury Plain. But, with respect, I doubt many Americans have even heard of the place. I couldn't do a leap into the New Mexican desert because, at that time, I had no knowledge that there are/were supposed to be Martians living there. I do now, because SRV have it on their new student session site. Had I read that in advance, I could indeed rationalize the session as I'm doing now." So this is someone who did a remote viewing session. They're trying to rationalize their results because maybe they got some UFO alien stuff in there. So Joe McMoneagle replies, "You can't be doing Martian targets and be getting feedback other than what someone, quote unquote, believes. You are operating within someone's closed loop. I doubt very seriously you are either learning RV that way, nor are you being given appropriate feedback. Go to real targets with real information in them." And now this Mary replies, "Are Martians now a part of folklore culture? Are we tapping a planetary belief system? And if instead it is task or intent, then surely the viewer is potentially wide open for manipulation, even when they attempt to avoid tasker perceptuals, if those perceptuals have taken on a life of their own, so to speak. A group could create a task focused around their dogmatic belief system and prove these same beliefs, and the viewer could connect to that widely held belief system. Example, Ku Klux Klan versus O.J. Simpson. Or am I up the creek without a paddle again? Sigh." And now Joe McMoneagle replies, "Yes, yes, and yes. One of the unfortunate problems with RV, and one of its beautiful aspects, is that the person who is selecting the target can make or break a new viewer. You are being asked to do things way out of your league at the moment. You are being given targets which cannot be proved or disproved, and you are being asked to decide between real and imaginary information, something a world-class remote viewer will have lots of difficulty with, even when carrying around years of experience. Find a new viewing group or someone who knows what they are doing in selecting training types of targets. You will do a lot better over the long haul. Regards, Joe." So this is something that, I've been trying to tell people who talk to me and ask me questions about remote viewing. Eliminate all this stuff about figuring out mysteries and looking at aliens and all this kind of stuff. You got to walk before you can run, folks. You got to Learn how to hit a normal, boring, real target, just, a building, uh, a valley, a waterfall. You got to learn how to hit these kinds of things consistently. You got to learn how to get these gestalts and unpack them. Um, before you even imagine about trying to solve some kind of UFO mystery, honestly, because you're going to end up wasting your time. You're going to waste your time and energy. You're going to be frustrated. It's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. And ultimately, it's turning you off. It's going to turn you off from that intuitive side of yourself that, you obviously have an interest in delving into, but, using the wrong targets or working targets for people who don't know what they're doing. I get people all the time saying, hey, I got a target, just work it for me. But it's like, honestly, I know that 99% of the time, those targets are a waste of time, because either the person setting up the target doesn't know what they're doing, or they're setting up a target that is just a detriment to your remote viewing skill, because there probably is not going to be any real feedback for it. So take this into your own hands, okay? There's plenty of target pools online that have regular everyday targets with good feedback. Start working those. And, I have a website, www.thefeedbackloop.info. There's a bunch of regular everyday targets on there that you can work and start to build this feedback loop with your subconscious. That's what's important, not knowing if there's Martians in the desert, okay? So just a little short talk I wanted to give today. You can't be working Martian targets, okay? Work real targets, build your skills, build your sensitivity and familiarity with the remote viewing signal, with your subconscious self, and go from there. So hopefully this was interesting. One love, y'all.